So just a couple of months ago, I did a video, an experimental video, which went pretty viral. It was experimenting using my driver and different tee heights to find out which tee height suited me the best and how much difference in distance and accuracy it can make if you use the correct tee height. I'll tag that video below if you've not watched it. But today we're back to test tee heights for irons, because I'm sure you're as guilty as I am. You know, you get on the tee, you find any old broken tee and pop it in the ground. Some of you are going to be saying, no guys, I use graduated tees. But this video could still be for you, because we're going to test how much difference only half an inch can make when you're teeing up your irons, and whether it makes any difference at all. You know, I'm guilty of not knowing the answer to this. I'm looking forward to the results. So for this experiment today, we're going to be using brand new Pro V's out the sleeve. We're going to be using green 1-inch tees, red 1 1/4 inch tees, and blue 1 1/2 inch tees. Get in the comments, guys, if you're using graduated tees and what colour are you using for your irons. And today, let's find out what colour tee height is going to suit me best for my irons. We're going to be testing with an 8 iron, and we're going to be having a look at the numbers to discuss what you should be looking for if you do this test yourself, and find out which is the best colour tee height for my irons. Right, so we're going to collect some data, and we're going to start off with the green 1-inch tees. Now, I must say, I've never actually used a tee as low as the green. This is just a smidge off the floor. I mean, I don't use graduated tees myself, but if we're having a guess at what colour I'd be using, I think when I tee them up, they're probably about the height of red. So I've set that green at 160 yards. Which I fell a little bit short of. I think this 8 iron, when I strike it well, goes between about, well, I'd say about 155. That's better. So I must say, after just hitting a few balls already with green, I feel a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know why. I've never teed it this low, and I don't know if it's fear, but I just feel nervous before I even hit the ball, because it's a bit lower than I'm used to seeing. So there is that element as well, isn't there? Is how much confidence does your tee height give you? Just teeing it up a bit higher, give you that more confidence. Because I think, you know, we all probably see, you know, as tour players and good players teeing it really low, but are we a good enough golfer to actually tee it that low and have the same confidence as they have? So if you're going to do this test at home, what I would certainly be looking at is efficiency of strike. Now, if you've got a launch monitor, that's pretty easy, but if you've not got a launch monitor, what you could do is test maybe 5 or 6 shots with each tee height, and just, you know, manually mark down on a scale of 1 to 10 how well you thought you struck it, and see if you can sort of get an accumulative number and find out which one you felt the most confident with. Because after that first one with green, I would imagine that my score would be pretty low, and we'll have a look at efficiency at the end to see if that is actually true. But this tee height now with red looks about how I try to tee it when I'm using wooden tees. And that felt straight away, that felt more out the middle of the golf club and just a lot flusher. That just feels a lot better. Now we'll have a look at club data as well at the end, but it wouldn't surprise me if my club head speed has got a little bit quicker with this tee, and it's not because I've warmed up more, because I'd already warmed up. I think it's just that confidence of the ball being a little bit higher. I just feel a bit like I'm swinging a bit more freely. It's only an observation, and I might be wrong, but I certainly feel as though I'm just swinging with a little bit more freedom. Let's have a look at them two before we get on to blue. So if we firstly start by looking at club data, the club speed didn't even increase. I just felt more confident. I felt looser because it was up on a tee. You know, it was suspended a bit more in the air, so I had that confidence. But look at efficiency, how much more I'm getting out of the club. Let's look what that's doing to our ball data. Wow. So, I mean, ball speed, because I'm hitting it more at the centre of the face, I've gained an extra 8 miles per hour in ball speed. You know, that's resulted in, you know, look at the carry. That's incredible. That's what's that, 14 yards extra carry and 10 yards extra distance. And that's just by changing TI. And, you know, ball flight wise, look at that launch. It's very, you know, very consistent to the green tee on launch. It's matching it, but it just carries and flies a little bit further. Now, what's going to be really interesting, what does blue do? Yeah, so my first thing I would say there is I felt as though the ball was suspended in the air, and I almost felt like I weren't hovering my club, but I felt like if I was to get, I don't know, like too low, I was going to hit it high out the face. So I'm not sure yet. If I sit, I'm going to sit it on the floor like I normally would. So I don't know if I were suspending it a little bit, actually. It does look, I feel uncomfortable. I think you can tell already. I feel uncomfortable with that tee height. Surely nobody's using blue for irons, are they? If they are, you must have good coordination, because I'm feeling a bit nervous over this one. I'm going to sit it on the floor and just play it how I normally would. I mean, that felt nice. No, I don't think this is going to be the one. One more. I'm just not sure. I'm already feeling that my strike has been so inconsistent. I've not kind of felt the same feeling out the club face, you know, twice in a row. It's felt top of the face, bottom of the face. I feel as though, yeah, when it's suspended too high in the air, I don't think that's actually helping. And I think a lot of handicappers might do that. You know, if they're scared of topping the ball, it's teed up too high. And then do you actually ever can you get a consistent strike when it's that high? Let's have a look. So if we firstly start by looking at club data, you know, I could have told you that efficiency rate was going to drop. I felt uncomfortable. You know, I didn't know whether to have it settled on the floor, whether to hover it. That came at a sacrifice of not hitting the middle of the golf club. Club head speed, you know, that's dropped again. Probably a little bit of nervousness, not knowing what I'm doing as much. Certainly the red tee, I just felt like, yeah, so confident with it. If we look at ball data, so that little bit of drop in club speed has dropped ball speed, which has resulted in another loss in distance. So between the red tee, which I felt most comfortable with, and we're talking about a quarter of an inch here, it's made 9 yards of difference in carry and 6 yards of difference in total distance. But look at the dispersion as well. Look how much wider with blue it is, because I was a lot less confident. You know, obviously, as soon as I got on that red tee, it's probably not the tightest dispersion, but it's a lot tighter than blue. You know, back to front distance is tighter. Obviously, left and right's tighter. You could argue green is probably the tightest, but it's such a drop off in distance. You know, it's probably not an amount of distance you'd want to lose, is it? So just to summarise, if I was teeing it up too low with irons, I'm losing up to 14 yards carry. I'm losing up to 10 yards in total distance. And when I tee it up too high, I'm losing 9 yards of carry and 6 yards of total distance. But not only that, I've got a hell of a lot wider dispersion, left and right and back to front. So optimal tee height for irons is very important, guys. And I hope this gets you thinking about how high you're teeing it up. And, you know, when you're using them wooden tees, is just guessing going to give you the optimal numbers. I'm convinced now that I need to tee up the height of red tees, whether that means that I have to buy red graduated tees and look like a, I'm going to say it, look like a hacker, because that's what we all think of these tees, don't we? Or I can find some wooden tees with some markings on to help me tee up consistently the same height. But I'm definitely going to be thinking a lot more after this test, and I hope you are. Guys, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in a couple of days' time. Get in the comments if you'd like me to do any more tests. And yeah, let's keep improving our golf. Thanks, guys. Bye.